once again for another DVD review, and this time it is of Opera. Opera was released back in 1987, also known as Terror at the Opera, and directed by the one and only Dario Argento. Right, so Opera is a Italian giallo film. I'm just going to go the plot, quickly. It's about a young opera singer, soprano, who basically she takes over the role of as an opera singer in a major opera house in Rome, or I think it's set in Rome, Italy, and basically she gets involved in a series of murders being committed inside the opera house. Talk about Dario Argento. He is definitely one of my top, fave directors. He's Italian. He's an Italian filmmaker, and is how would you say, like his best time in the world of film was during the 70s and 80s. He actually co-wrote, believe it or not, Once Upon a Time in the West, with directed by Sergio Leone, one and only Sergio Leone. He was quite a young filmmaker then, but yeah. So Dario Argento is like, he's like the Wes Craven of. He's also known as the master of horror, like John Carpenter. He started off, his vintage stuff, the early 70s stuff was, one of my favorite parts. Bird with the Crystal Plumage, Cat o' Nine Tails. Then he had the masterful Deep Red, Profondo Rosso, the Italian title, and the one and only horror masterpiece, Suspiria. Yeah, I just want to talk about, I mentioned the word giallo. Basically, giallo is an Italian term designating to mystery fiction. And giallo actually in Italian means yellow, and it derives from there was a time in Italy, I think is the 40s or the 50s, when cheap paperback mystery novels were being written, and they all had basically a yellow cover. So when you see the term giallo in certain films nowadays, you'll get it more, because of the Blu-ray, because of internet, you know about it more now. Giallo basically is yellow in Italian, and it derives from a time when certain murder mystery novels were written. And yeah, the other thing I'd like to say is this is probably when Dario Argento, this was probably at the point when this is probably one of his last, one of his best films. Wouldn't put it up there with the other ones from the 70s or the early 80s. This was probably the last of his kind from that. He was coming to, happens to directors, happened to John Carpenter, happened to Brian De Palma. They don't really, but he did carry on making stuff. He did make some, he made Two Evil Eyes in the 90s, which was a collaboration with George Romero, which is good. I watched that the other day actually, which is pretty decent. Then he sort of came back in the 2000s with Sleepless, The Card Player, and Giallo. And Giallo, they were pretty. Giallo was actually really good. It wasn't, on the level of his earlier stuff, which is understandable. Things changed, this is the 2000s, but they were good. So, alright guys, I'm just gonna. So this is a limited edition I bought back in 2001. Digitally remastered, sound and picture by good old George Lucas's company THX. So this is by Anchor Bay. Anchor Bay used to do some awesome limited edition stuff. So yeah, as you can check, I'll give you a quick. It's got the cool artwork. I bought this in a shop in London Piccadilly and Shaftesbury Avenue. They're the only ones at that time. They used to get, at that time, Region 1 DVD, US ones were hard to get hold of. And the UK weren't really doing all this limited sort of stuff at the time. They sort of started doing it afterwards, and during the Blu-ray era. But at that time, it was the US DVDs, like Anchor Bay were doing all the So yeah, so here you go. So in the back talks is 2 by 35 anamorphic, so you don't need to worry about zoom. You've got some good extras. So there's only 3,000 of these made worldwide. So as you can see, look at my number. So this is definitely a limited. Yeah, so Anchor Bay done this, cool. And this is, back in the days, in the VHS days, this was heavily cut, not in its full original aspect ratio, and it was really bad. So Anchor Bay done a hell of a job restoring this to its full uncut version, and the sound and the picture is good. It's still good today, even on 4K stand. If you watch it on a 4K, it's good. So just gonna check. You get this cool little booklet, little talks about the film. It's pretty neat, and that's the film. That's the extras disc. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. I'm sure if you try, you can't. This is out on Blu-ray now. Very hard limited edition Blu-rays in the US, which are very hard to get hold of. But I've seen the Blu-ray is good, but this is still pretty decent actually. The DVD, depending what you want, I watch it on a 4K Sony TV, and it is pretty good still. Obviously not on the standards of the Blu-ray, but the Blu-ray is very hard to get hold of. That is limited to the max. I should have got it really, my own fault. But yeah, I still got this from 2001. Yeah, try to check on eBay, and I'm sure you pick up a copy. There's always stuff around. Yeah, so it's worth getting hold if you horror, kids, youngsters watching Netflix stuff. You want to watch something different. Try out good old Dario Argento. Good old. You've done some of the best horror stuff, very stylistic stuff, worth getting hold of. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Peace.